So in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of a indie fragrance that was sent to me. The owner had reached out to me asking if I'd be interested in reviewing one of his fragrances. Prior to that, I had seen his fragrances. I had seen the website, and I will say this: I thought it was well. One, I was obviously interested, but I got more interested in just a better appreciation for the house in general prior to even getting the fragrance after seeing the website. The website, you go on there and it's obviously it's an indie house. It's just guy who's making the fragrances, and he just kind of does something that I feel like is really lost now in the fragrance community and perfumery in general, and that is he continues with storytelling. He really makes it clear the inspiration behind a fragrance. All of his fragrances, there's a story behind it. What gave him the inspiration? And the notes fit that story to where once you know the story behind it and you smell the fragrance, it makes a lot of sense and it gives you a much deeper appreciation for it. It also, in that same regard, helps really kind of take you to that kind of mindset of what gave him that inspiration, right? Scent memories, and triggers your own scent memories. It actually happened when I was smelling this, and I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, he has about, I think, 5 men's fragrances and 3 women's, but each have a story behind it. And he talks about basically how he wanted to create fragrances that, just kind of gave, I guess, appreciation for the memories he had in the valley, kind of recreate the experiences he had, through fragrance. And he honestly did a really good job of it. So I'm just gonna say the presentation now. This is what comes in box, slide out box, pretty nice. Slides out, fragrance sits in there. And the box got a little damaged in transit, but it holds the bottle fine. Certainly came in fine. Bottle's not damaged at all. It's got an etching on the back, the name of the fragrance, which you can see through the bottle. It's clear. This one is Arizona Sonset on the bottom there. Nice glass, nice weight to it. Pretty good atomizer, nice amount of spray. The cap is plastic, but it's got a cool design on there, a little texture on there. So this one in particular, I'm going to read the inspiration to you. It says, "This is a special scent dedicated to my stepdad, a man that did everything he didn't have to. He was always on the front porch smoking a cigarette, drinking coffee when he wasn't in the garage making something out of wood. Those scents combined with the cocoa shea butter lotion he wore are what I will always associate with him. He has since moved out of state, and when I find myself reminiscing, I spray on some Arizona Sunset, and I'm reminded how lucky I am as a son." So that is the inspiration. And when you go to the note breakdown, it's fitting to a T to that. Black coffee, cigarettes, cocoa shea butter lotion, Colombian coffee, and wood. And, you're going to get with this, immediately out the gate, you're going to get coffee. It is a coffee fragrance. Big blast of coffee. Very realistic smelling. It smells like a pot of coffee that's brewing. It's going to immediately make you think of that. There is a subtle sweetness to it, which really makes it just more mass appealing. It's not cloyingly sweet, but there's this nice sweetness to it, which honestly, again, like I said, it's going to make it more mass appealing. There's a subtle smokiness to it, which is where that cigarette smoke comes in, but it's not off-putting. So most people think, self included, cigarette smoke is not something I want to smell like, and it's generally not something you would think to put in a fragrance, but it works in here. It works well, and it's done because it works well because it's so subtle. It just adds this kind of mystery, this intrigue to it, this extra kind of layer of complexity that really works with the coffee. And the shea butter, you can kind of pick up on that as well, and there is a woodiness to it. So again, the inspiration 100% fits the story, fits the notes 100%. And when I sprayed this, it kind of brought me back almost to some memories I had in my own childhood. And my dad didn't smoke, but that same coffee smell brewing pot of coffee, knowing where his inspiration came from, kind of just made me think back, to when I was a kid. Not that coffee's unique necessarily anything, but it was like, it just kind of, having read that, then smelling it, I was like, oh wait, it kind of took me there, which was really cool. And again, it's something that I feel like is lost in the art of perfumery, is storytelling, is, that kind of just uniqueness, and inspiration that really feels like there was thought and heart put into it. And so much now, especially in the designer world, is just the same rehashed fragrance. I don't know how many interpretations there are of something like YSL or Invictus or heck, Creed Aventus. Even in a niche world, again, bunch of knockoffs or basically twists on Aventus, twists on Baccarat Rouge 540, Elysium. I mean, you have all these fragrances that are just, they're not original, and they're just trying to ride that money, the market, to pump out mass appealing fragrances for sales. And I get it, it's a company, it's a business. But what I like about the indie houses it is, there's that heart behind it, there's that uniqueness behind it, and the actual thought behind the fragrance. And it just gives you something that you don't get elsewhere. You can have an entire collection of fragrances, and this is going to stand out, and it does stand out. And that's something that, in the world of 100 million blue fragrances, or whatever the case may be, this is unique. It's also appealing. Again, the sweetness. Most people like the smell of coffee, okay, and that sweetness with it, and then the woods and the smoke give it this kind of masculine appeal. But the sweetness kind of helps balance it out, makes it more, mass appealing. Certainly not overpowering, not off-putting by any means. I wouldn't wear this night heat, I will say that, even though the name's Arizona Sonset. I wore this at the office twice, 2 days in a row. Performance was great, lasted all throughout the workday, 8 hours easy. Nice projection, not crazy, but I didn't want it to be crazy. It was a good scent bubble, good sillage, but again, it smelled really good around me, and it lasts. So for $39 for 50 ml, it's not bad at all. If you're a fan of coffee fragrances, I highly recommend you check this out. They do have other fragrances. If you're not a fan of coffee fragrances, I haven't tried any other ones. I'm going to, though, after smelling this, and again, just kind of really, getting something that has been kind of lost for so long in perfumery and the fragcom in general. It made me want to get a discovery set of these fragrances, and just kind of dig into other indie houses more, as well. So anyway, thank you for sending me this. It was sent to me. Again, he didn't care what I said or if I reviewed it or anything like that, but this is good. This is good. You gotta like coffee. If you don't like coffee, you're not gonna like this. But don't be scared of the cigarette smoke. It's very subtle, and it really just adds to it. And this is certainly not a slouch performance-wise either. But man, again, I don't know. I just, it's something that because I had discussed trying to make my own fragrances in this channel, and I'm still planning on doing that. But that is something that I would like to do as well. I think it's, again, that story is what not only resonates with people, but really goes to kind of just make perfumery an art. And I really appreciate that about this house. So anyway, like I said, price point's great, scent profile is great, performance is great, and it is absolutely unique. So, and mass appealing. This isn't something that's off-putting or anything like that. So I definitely recommend checking it out. I will link the website in the comments section. I'll probably also put it in the about section or whatever it's called in YouTube. But if you have any questions, let me know. Yeah. Anyway, this is good. It's unique, and honestly, it's something that is much needed in fragcom. So I appreciate it. Thank you for sending me it. Thank you for letting me check it out. Like I said, I will be picking up Discovery Scent of your other scents. So good job.